All eyes are on the 2017 Honda Civic Si right now. Why? It's the first Si in over 20 years to come turbocharged from the factory. Honda has embraced turbocharging, but is that a good thing? Enthusiasts have been worried that the new turbocharged Honda engines will lose that personality and freneticism that made the old cars so great. To be honest, I was also worried about that. So let's find out if the new Si is any good. First stop, Honda Proving Center, Cantil, California, where we hit the test track. This is the stiffest Si yet in terms of the chassis structure and definitely the suspension. That's a big merit when the road gets twisty. Body motions are really subdued, especially compared to previous SIs. It's pretty noticeable inside and outside of the car. The reduction in roll from previous SIs is pretty noticeable. It means the car is super responsive to your inputs. The calibration on the power steering combined with the pretty flat suspension means the turn-in is super crisp. It actually takes some getting used to because the tires can't match the pace of the steering or the suspension. It honestly needs more tire grip to match what the car is capable of. When it comes to all these chassis upgrades for the latest Civic Si, definitely the biggest one for me were the brakes. Coming from the previous gen car, the new Si has 1.3-inch larger front rotors. That pays huge dividends on the track. I keep mentioning the chassis of this latest Civic. It's a big deal. The 10th gen Civic chassis sees a torsional rigidity increase of 25% over the 9th gen. That's huge, and it's a big deal as to why this car feels so good when you're really hustling it. Also a big deal is the fact it's about 100 pounds lighter than it was before. A Civic Si comes in at just a hair under 2,900 pounds, which in the sport compact segment means it's one of the lightest of the bunch. To put it in perspective, the perennial favorite, the Focus ST, is some 300 pounds heavier. When it comes to performance, weight is everything. I mean, if your car is lighter, it improves acceleration, braking, steering, everything. So that this car is so light makes it really great at hustling around a track. In addition to the body in white being a lot stiffer than the previous car and being lighter than the previous car, I think the biggest upgrade on this latest Si is the shocks. This is the least expensive car on sale right now with adaptive dampers. For $25,000, this Sport Compact has two-way adjustable dampers that, if you push the Sport button, adjust both compression and rebound. Not all adaptive dampers are created equal. In the Civic Si, Honda has attached a solenoid onto the shock that when you push the Sport button, opens up the solenoid and alters the valving inside the shock. Basically what this does is it really ramps up the initial bump and rebound of the shock, making it much firmer on initial turn-in. We can talk about the chassis upgrades all day long, but the real thing that everyone wants to know is the turbocharged engine worthy of the Si badge? You bet your sweet ass it is. The L15B7 as found in the new Si is different from the one found in the EXT or the Sport. It has the same KO3 turbocharger, but the impeller is different, designed to flow better at high RPM. The head is different too, with sodium-filled valves to reduce internal temperatures. Although specifics weren't mentioned, we were told that the head flows better and the block is more rigid than the standard L15 turbo. The new Si loves to rev. It charges super hard to a 6,500 RPM redline, and it feels like it can make power to 7,000 if they'd let it go there. The freneticism and urgency that defined previous Civic Si engines is still there. The difference is now that it's assisted by 20 PSI boost. According to Honda, this L15B7 makes peak torque from 2,000 to 5,000 RPM, so it has torque down low that even the K24 couldn't match. Honda did tune the power curve to try and be pretty linear, so while it'll pull you along at 3,000 RPM, it really wants to rev, and it rewards people who will take it to the red line. You can't deny its prowess at progress either. By all performance metrics, this is the fastest Civic Si we've ever seen. It seems a bit muffled, but in terms of decibels, it's kicking out about the same amount of noise as a K-powered Civic Si from before. On the outside, if it's passing you at full throttle, you can hear that 1.5-liter four-banger buzzing along as it comes towards you, and as it passes, you hear the turbo wastegate noise coming from the exhaust. Crucially for the new Civic Si is the fact that it has a helical limited slip differential with that 6-speed manual. That LSD is awesome because with this newfound turbocharged torque, it really helps the Civic Si claw its way out of corners. So, that's how the 2017 Honda Civic Si works on test track, but how does it work in the real world? Fortunately, Honda mapped out a 190-mile road trip for us, threw us the keys to a car, and said, go hit the streets. Civic Si is just as happy cruising at 2,500 RPM in 6th gear as it is really tearing up the back roads. Speaking of cruising in 6th gear on the freeway, this thing's a real fuel sipper. We were quite surprised. Honda rates this car at 38 miles per gallon freeway, which, when you consider it against the other $25,000-ish sport compact cars, is definitely class leading. The overarching impression that the 2017 Honda Civic Si left on me is that the turbocharged engine has such tractability. Basically, you can leave it in 4th gear or 5th gear and really rip through the canyon roads because it has so much down-load torque and kind of just pull along. You don't have to wring it out. You can, and it rewards you for doing so, but you don't have to. That's a nice thing to have. Beyond the engine, same thing I noted on the test track is that the fantastic suspension and chassis setup of this car means it's overly composed on the canyon roads. It's not boring at all, but it's so sure-footed that you can really hustle the car. The 2017 Honda Civic Si ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of enthusiasts. That one car can be so capable in so many venues is truly a testament to what Honda can do when they really come out swinging. In case I haven't made it clear yet, please go test drive a 2017 Civic Si. You won't regret it at all. Except your bank account, that might regret it. But it's worth it. Go try one. On sale now.